Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer and moved to Arsenal. It's Monday, it's match day, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace at last. As I said, I'm sure I said it yesterday, or even it was yesterday, another day. I don't like when games are on a Monday, when you got to wait the whole weekend, games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you got to wait all the way till Monday for your game to come. But the game day has arrived now, and really looking forward to it. Big test for Arsenal today, away at Crystal Palace. And one interesting thing for me is going to be Kieran Tierney. Is Kieran Tierney going to be in the squad? Mikel Arteta was sort of questioned about Kieran Tierney in his press conference a couple of days ago, and he said, listen, he is still in our plans. Kieran Tierney still in Arsenal's plans. I think we get to find out a bit more about that when we see the team come out. Not necessarily if he's in the starting lineup, but is he in the squad? He wasn't even in the matchday squad for the game against Nottingham Forest. If he's not in the matchday squad again, I don't really care what Mikel Arteta says about him still being part of the plans. I will seriously doubt that. A bit like the other day I saw, Ten Hag say that, Maguire's still part of my plans. Of course, we're keeping him, blah, blah. And then when the matchday squad came out for their game against Tottenham, he wasn't even in the squad. So it's going to be interesting to see, because the options for Kieran Tierney really have started to really get slim. I mean, Newcastle now, they bought Lewis Hall from Chelsea. So the chances of him going to Newcastle are very slim. Chances of him going to Real Sociedad, we know that Arsenal don't want to send him out on a loan. Same with Celtic. They only really want him on a loan as well. So he could end up staying at Arsenal. I think with Timber being out, it might be a wise idea to keep him, even though Zinchenko's coming back. But going to be interesting to see what's happening with Kieran Tierney. One left back who definitely looks like he's leaving is Nuno Tavares. Now, I spoke about it on yesterday's show and said that he's heavily linked at the moment with a move to Nottingham Forest, and that Forest were looking to pay big money for him and get the deal done. And it was starting to look like that was going to happen. However, hearing today that that deal is unlikely to happen, and I was like, no, actually, it was yesterday I said, the previous day I said that he was going to Forest. Yesterday I said that he was sort of exploring his options. One of those options looks like it is Aston Villa. Now, Unai Emery is looking for a left back. Luca Dina looked like he could be on his way. There's been interest for Luca Dina from Nice in France, and he could move, even though he played in yesterday's game for Aston Villa. And they are interested in bringing in Nuno Tavares. They were also after Marcus Acuna of Sevilla, but that looks like that's fallen through. So Nuno Tavares very heavily on their radar. And as I said, he's considering his options. He's going to go before the end of the transfer window, but where will he go and how much will Arsenal get for him? A player that they paid £7 million for, they'll be looking to see if they can cash in on him. Another player that I was sort of keeping an eye on yesterday was Ansu Fati. Again, a player that has been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. Now, what I tend to do is when these players have been linked with Arsenal, look when their game happens to see, is that player starting? Is that player on the bench? Is that player not even in the squad at all? Ansu Fati was actually in the Barcelona squad, which played against Cadiz. They had a 2-0 win in that game. However, he was a substitute in the game. So came on later on in the second half, but only a substitute in the game. It's one of the things that's kind of irritating him a bit. He wants to be playing regular football. And we know that Arsenal have spoken to his agent, Jorge Mendes, about the possibility of a move. So again, he's not playing regularly. The thing is, though, if he came to Arsenal, he wouldn't be playing regularly either. I mean, he'd be in contention to start, but he wouldn't be a regular starter here either. So that's the thing with a player like this. If he does move at all, he may want to move to a club where he's going to be almost guaranteed to get lots and lots of game time. And a bit like Barcelona, that wouldn't be a guarantee at Arsenal. So, and it would be a lot of money to bring him in. But Still Ansu Fati, I think that's going to run and run until the end of the transfer window. A couple of weeks ago to the end of it now. Ansu Fati, where is he going to end up? Will he stay at Barcelona? That's what Xavi's been saying. He'd like to keep him, or does he move on? Now, of course, we know about the injury to Jurrien Timber, and it's so sad that he won't be featuring in the game against Crystal Palace and for many, many months. But could Arsenal be set to going for another Dutch defender as a possible replacement? And that is, excuse me, Per Schuurs of Torino. Now, Per Schuurs has really been, getting rave reviews for his performances at Torino. He was only signed a year ago by Torino for around about, I think it's around about £7 million. But since he's come in at Torino, he's done really, really well. A centre-back, right-footed, right-sided centre-back, which is exactly the sort of player Arsenal may be looking at to replace Jurrien Timber. Still very young, 23 years of age, and a Dutch player. Now, according to the journalist Dean Jones, he's saying that Arsenal, as well as Spurs, are interested in signing him. As I said, only bought 1 year ago by Torino. They bought him in from Ajax, and he's really, really impressed. Liverpool are said to be another club that are very, very interested in signing Per Schuurs as well. So he's in demand. Would cost around about £25 million. But if all three of those clubs got involved, obviously the price is going to go up. Now, it all boils down to what Arsenal are looking to do if they replace Jurrien Timber. And this is a bit of a mystery at the moment. Do they want a straight centre-back to replace him? Because, remember, he was a centre-back when he was at Ajax, Jurrien Timber. Do they want a right-back? Or do they want a left back? It's really, or do they want a player that can play all three? And looking at sort of Per Schuurs, he is kind of more of a straight centre back. I don't really see him as that versatile player that can play in many different positions, like what a Jurrien Timber could do. So, going to be interesting because, as I said, in that centre back position at the moment, right-sided centre back, the options are, if anything happens to Saliba, we're back to Rob Holding as the backup. So do Arsenal want to bring in a player in that position? Or, as I've said before on other shows, is it you bring in, say, someone who can go on a right as a right back, which then means you could switch Ben White into that position? That's the mystery that's going to be hopefully solved before the end of the transfer window. One thing for sure is a couple of players that we've been interested from Manchester City are not going to be coming to Arsenal. Emerick Laporte, who's only gone for around about £25 million, which seems pretty cheap for a player of his quality. He's moving to Al Nassr, yet another player that has left from the Premier League to go to Saudi Arabia. When I said this, I was on DR Sports probably about 6 weeks ago, and I said the Saudis are going to be a serious threat, and everybody was saying I'm chatting rubbish, right? It was after they bought in Neves from Wolves. Now you're seeing them. They are getting players left, right, and centre, and not all of them are sort of super aging players at the end of their career. Laporte going to Al Nassr for a reported 25 million. João Cancelo going to Barcelona. They're just ironing out the last bits on that deal. What is clear, these were two players that Arsenal were heavily, heavily interested in from Manchester City. City have put the block on Arsenal. They are not willing to sell to Arsenal anymore. They've learnt their lesson from the Jesus and Zinchenko deals. At that time, as far as they were concerned, Arsenal were no threat. They don't view us like that anymore. And actually, that's a good thing that they don't view us like that anymore. But they don't view us like that anymore. And they have put the block on Arsenal and are not selling any of their players to Arsenal. So Laporte and Cancelo, both players that Arsenal wanted, heading to different clubs because basically Manchester City are saying, no more are we giving you our players. Sorry, you are a competitor. And let's hope we can tick them this time to the league. So listen, those are the rumours for today. Don't forget, if you want to check out the game today, big watch along that we're doing to the match here on AFTV. We're also going to be at the ground speaking to all the fans after the game. You will not miss a thing here by following AFTV. So make sure you check us out. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.